Now, obviously, none of us are going to pick Star Wars as the worst one. So we'll talk about Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope Special Edition. We were like the prime audience for this, right? You're a little younger than us. Do you remember this coming out in theaters? How old are you? When were you born again?
97.
Sorry. All right, so literally the year it came out.
Yeah.
Never mind, you missed out on this.
Oh, no, that's 77. 97. Oh, you mean the special edition?
No, when were you born?
97.
97. Yeah. That's when the special editions came out.
Okay, wow. I was
God,
a
this
little bit
VHS
behind.
box set is, you're just a few months older than this. So you don't remember what this was like. So
No.
our generation, we get the VHS tapes finally. Like, they're on TV a lot. We're watching them. And then we find out they're making new ones.
Yep.
But to get you hyped up for the new ones, they're like, hey, we're putting the originals back in theaters, remastering it. Remember the commercial for it? Do you ever see this commercial? It was like,
but if you've only seen it this way, you haven't seen it at all.
and it looked awesome. And then they're like, we're also adding a lot of stuff because CGI was new at the time.
Didn't Jim Cummings do the voice for the trailer? It's like Hondo Anaka from the Clone Wars. He's
He
like
might
Winnie the
have?
Pooh. It's like, for the last time, Star Wars
Yes.
as you remember it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have the VHS collection that came out right before that, I think.
Right. Yeah, we don't have that one.
Okay.
We have the last one where it's just like, this will be the last time you see it in this version.
Gotcha.
So this was a big deal. We were the target audience for this. They had just done Shadows of the Empire.
Yeah.
And that was Lucasfilm being like, can we just pour out a bunch of merch for a movie that doesn't even exist? Because it had a comic, video game, toy line, and it all did really well, and there was no movie. And they're like, well, people still love Star Wars, so they brought this out. And, like, I think we got to see Star Wars in theaters. Did you go to the theaters for these, the special editions?
I'm pretty sure. I've seen like everything.
Yeah. And at the time, I thought all the stuff they added was cool, because I was 7.
Well, yeah, and it's like nice and
And it's like, there's
shiny
more
and-
Star Wars now.
Yeah.
Look at all the X-Wings and stuff. But as I've gotten older, I've realized, wow, this version kind of ruins the pacing of the original Star Wars. Have you seen the original cut of Star? I assume you have.
Yes, so I got the VHSs, so I didn't really know what the special edition changes were until I had friends that had the DVDs,
Yeah.
and I'm like, what is this? Like,
Yeah.
what? Is this the change when they started adding, like, the scenes with Jabba and everything?
Yes, that was the thing. They're
Yeah.
like, we're going to add this scene of Jabba that we filmed. And it's like, yeah, but that scene sucked. And a lot of it repeated what was in the Greedo scene. So you hear the same dialogue twice.
And we get Boba Fett in there, just... He's there.
Yeah, and
He's
I think
hanging out.
we pointed out in our Boba Fett, like,
Yeah.
Boba Fett in that movie, to this day, like, his head is disappearing because of how they green screened him in. It's bizarre. Mos Eisley's supposed to be like a hive of scum and villainy, and they hype it up, and then it's just like, here's some wacky, cute robots slapping each other around, and they make it look like a fun place, and it's like, I think you missed the point of that.
It's also anything with like computers. They added like more shiny buttons and screens and
Oh,
stuff.
God,
and I'm like,
yeah.
oh my god!
There's, like, droids floating around. And,
Like,
Yeah, it's distracting. Like, Star Wars is a great movie. It tells a nice, simple story, and now you're just cluttering the screen with shit. Like, before, I think it was like an astromech, like, goes past the camera, but this time they added a Bronto, which was the ILM model for the Brachiosaurus, just reshaped, and it just covers the entire screen. It's like, why?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say when you said distracting. It's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, like, I'll be fair. There's some decent cosmetic changes, like the Jawas, like, junk.
The Sandcrawler?
Sandcrawler.
Got you.
They like shot a miniature, like, on a nice sound stage of it coming down a hill. Like, all right, that actually looks pretty good. So
Yeah.
there's some decent changes. And then the special editions didn't stop happening. Like, now, how, Xander, can you explain to me, how did R2-D2 get in that cave with all those rocks?
That is a very good question. Johanna, do you know how he got in
No,
the rocks?
Xander, tell me.
He just used his little arms that pop out and he scoot them aside
guess.
and then he moved them right back.
But it's like, he went back and, like, made changes to things that didn't need changes.
Oh, the crate dragon sound he makes.
Woo! Like,
It's
what the
really
fuck is
goofy.
that?
Yeah.
And of course, we're going to talk about it.
Okay.
Han and Greedo.
Oof.
Like, this is like... So, like, when we're seeing this in the theaters, we're not, like, registering, like, how awful this was, because we're just like, yay, I'm looking at Star Wars in a theater. I don't care.
I'm a child. Like,
But yeah, as you rewatch it, it's like, oh, wow, it was really cool that Han just kind of shot him. Like, that was pretty cool because he's like an asshole and he lives with assholes. And the whole movie is about him learning to not be an asshole.
Yep.
So then they made it look like it was like self-defense, and it's like the worst. Boop, boop. But then like they've rechanged it so many times. Now they're shooting at like the same time. And then the Disney Plus added McClunky.
McClunky.
Bet you have. McClunky.
Spielberg was smart. He went back and added a bunch of bullshit to E.T. But he never took away the original E.T. He put them both in the same disc package. And now I don't even think he can get the special edition E.T. I think he just get the original one. Like, he learned his lesson. But Lucas, for some reason, is like, you're not allowed to have this movie unless it's like an awful format. You cannot have a remaster of this movie.
I remember I was just this week listening to like an interview with George Lucas. I think it was like at a university. It might have been Christopher Nolan might have been interviewing him. I can't remember, but he was recounting making the first Star Wars and feeling like he was literally just slapping it together, thinking that you wouldn't really be able to go back and watch it in 4K 100 times and like pick apart every single frame. So he's like, they won't notice if we just make this a really like thrown together scene. And so I can definitely see like if he didn't feel like it was perfect, you start changing things in your mind and you want to like fix it.
And I get it. And I get like wanting to cover up the cosmetic stuff, but like when you start making like weird character changes.
Agreed.
I mean, the movie's still like fine, but it's not the way it should be seen. And it's upsetting that you have to like hunt down bootleg version remasters of the original cut of Star Wars, which is annoying. But yeah, that brings us to the next film.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our other videos and Patreon page.